Hey guys, it's the Gundam Boy, and today we're going to be looking at some of the melee.
Dragons! We got dragons!
What the hell?
Die. Come on. Come on, who wants to die?
Oh, there must
Chosen
be
death.
heavy beating.
Hey, yo! Die, hunters, die! Die!
I know you want to get me. Come on. Come on. Die.
Slay him! Oh, he kicked me. Aim for his legs. Yeah! Down with the turn. Carve him, yeah, carve him. We gotta make armor. Holy shit. The fact that you could do that to a charger is crazy. Die. Oh. I smite thee.
Fireball! Fireball!
Slay him! Taurus, that's fucking crazy.
I'm killing you.
Thank you to all you super thankers. You guys are awesome. I love seeing this. It is just so fun seeing that you guys enjoy my content enough to send me money. But remember guys, I'm doing this for liberty. But in all seriousness, thank you very much guys. This has been amazing. It's the Gundam Boy. And since the Urban Legends Warbond, Arrowhead has blessed us with an array of melee weapons. As of now, we have 3 or 4. Ooh. So we're going to be taking a look at the hatchet, the spear, the baton, and the shovel. We're also going to be covering how the melee functions in this game and how you should go about it in your engagements against various forces. We're also going to talk about the kind of stratagems you can bring along that may help you in your endeavors for trying to melee all the enemies. If you want to use the Hulk shotgun, this is a good option for stunning targets, just if you want to get certain difficult enemies to stay still long enough to do some damage. And if you want to get the most out of doing damage with your melee, I'd recommend wearing Peak Physique, because an increase by 100% for a melee is just too good to pass up. In terms of stratagems though, this is a pretty flexible loadout. Directional shield, ballistic shield, and the shield pack generator are all good defensive stratagems if you're worried about getting hurt. But if you're the one that wants to be doing the hurting, you have various guard dogs you can select. But the stratagems that you select isn't the critical point. The main thing is that you have that good old Viper Commando armor buff and a melee weapon. It's a freeform kind of loadout. Bring whatever you want, honestly. So looking at the lance first, its melee goes forward and back. I mean, it's a thrusting weapon, what did you expect? And it has no sweep, so this is a very precise weapon. Benefit to the people who like the precision shot everything, but a downside to people who want to wave like a wacky, waving, inflatable armed tube man. And this thing is good for opening up enemies for a perfect counter. Cockshot! Moving on to the baton, it has more of a wide swing, going left or right, with the stun effect as well. And the hatchet has the same animation, sharing the same swing left or right, but it can do this. Oh, I can't do it again. Why can't I do it again? Against the bigger units in this game, a lot of their melees are a little janky, so you have to use the ballistic shield or something to keep you safe from his strikes. Otherwise, you've entered a duel For Honor, and you're the cannon fodder NPCs, so be careful. You have to win this duel before your shield breaks or before you get knocked over by an attack. Be patient and look for an opening to give a strike. But how do the melee weapons fare against all 3 factions? Well, let's get right into it. When it comes with the hatchet is doing the most damage against the bugs, but you need to keep in mind the lack of stun means you'll have to rely on hitting hard and hitting in the right places to take down most of your enemies. One bad swing and that'd be enough for the bug to get behind you and start wailing on you. The axe by itself can take down scavengers all the way up to brood commanders as long as you have the tact for it. Against the bugs, this thing does a great job at just dismembering bugs left and right, but you need to keep in mind when there's hordes of them, you don't have the stun ability to stop them in their place. So keep swinging, stim, or get back and use a stratagem to get them off you. But this thing does solid damage and it's great for crowd controlling when they start getting into big groups. You can also down a charger with all these melee weapons, by the way. It's kind of crazy. The spear can do the same as the hatchet, but with the effect of being more accurate and stunning everybody. So this weapon is perfect for just hitting those spots on the bodies like arms, legs, whatever you need to do in that moment. Doesn't do as much damage as the hatchet, but its precision strikes and stuns means you can just lock them to death. The benefit of this weapon too is that it gives you some range, so even if there's an enemy that's coming in for a melee melee swing, you might outrange them in certain strikes, or you can meet them in the middle. And the benefit of this weapon stun means you can hold off things like stalkers, because those guys are nightmares to deal with. You can also hit chargers in their booty crack, and that will also get them to stay still too for a bit. Moving over to the police officer's favorite defense weapon, this keeps both the swing of the hatchet and the stun of the lance, making this baton a very interesting thing to use against the bugs. Swinging Grandma's defense cane, this weapon does numbers against groups of enemies when they all bunch up, because now you're swinging left to right, stunning a bunch of them. It doesn't do anything different from the hatchet, but it doesn't do anything different from the stun lance, so it's a pretty, you know, in the middle kind of weapon. Does less damage, but it still has its stun effect. If you're running the hatchet just purely by itself, then you'll have to worry about things like chargers and impalers and these sneaky little motherfuckers. Against the chaff, this thing hits pretty hard. When it comes to the two stun weapons, these guys have less things to worry about, actually being able to counter everything up to a charger, but when it comes against things like impalers and bile titans, that's the only kind of enemy you have to be careful around. The stun really does carry these weapons, and both of them will have to look out for shriekers because they're kind of hard to hit. But there is one thing that I forgot to tell you guys about the bug front and using melee. On constellations where there's these bugs, please do not bring melee. You will not win. You will win in the short run, but you'll be running through all your stims because these little terrorists explode when you pop them. Against the Illuminate, with the hatchet, you become the hash-slinging slasher. By itself, it does a great job at just dismembering Illuminate left and right. I personally like to aim for their legs and just kind of deal with the guys who are still upright. The high damage this weapon does means you'll be sending arms, legs, heads, whatever it is that you aim for flying off these guys. But if you're gonna start biting up the tree and go up against something like an Overseer, do keep in mind that these guys have melee priority. So you'll have to use either a weapon or a stratagem or something to give you the edge because their melee is ungodly. Shin Strike! And keep in mind you're not always going to have the chance to go into duels because you'll get swarmed by a shit ton of voteless. And the stun baton can do pretty much the same thing as the hatchet, but with that extra stun, making this thing capable of dueling Overseers into a stun lock. All that matters is that you get the first strike and you pretty much win against any enemy. And the stun lance can do the same as the baton, but with more precise strikes, allowing you to go for headshots and leg shots and arm shots, and what else would you want to aim for? The cock? Against the Illuminate, these weapons have no problems except for having to enter some duels with Overseers when you're using the hatchet. All the melee weapons are completely countered by elevated ones, so keep a gun on you. Melee on the Automaton front actually takes it back and goes more into a defensive role, because a lot of the Automatons will have guns. A lot of the units like Troopers and Berserkers, though, will run up on you and try to get into a melee range, but when it comes against things like the Dev units, you'll have to close the distance if you want to do any melee damage. Hatchet by itself can take down Troopers no problem, but when it starts coming against things like Berserkers, it lacks the ability to stun them, leading to you to often lose said duels. Using stratagems like the shield or other weapons to try and hold these guys still long enough can be useful for getting some use out of the hatchet on the Automaton front. When it comes to the stun lance, though, it has no problem dealing with the Automaton forces because the stun ability actually stops things like these Berserkers from going Chainsaw Man on you. And the added range means you can just poke these guys before they get into melee range. Gojo, is that you? Luring the Automatons in is going to be the real way to win with this lance because it's not like it shoots or anything. It's called a melee video, goofy. And if you ever end up in a situation when you're going up against a Hulk, I pray that you win because the chances of winning against a Hulk is kind of slim. And when it comes against the stun baton, the same thing applies as the stun lance, but with the whole swinging thing makes this thing a bit better at swinging widely at several Berserkers rather than just one. When it comes against something like these guys, though, the Devastators will just spend most of their time knocked out as you constantly wail on them. Against the Devastators, I find that this one takes the longest to kill because it's a baton. It's not a sword or an axe or a spear, but it can still get the job done. But that is it from me, divers. I will see you guys on the battlefield. Digging a hole, totally didn't forget to cover the shovel. Digging a hole, digging.